Happy Thursday, everybody. Can everybody hear me just fine? Because Zoe, I could not hear you. So let me know in the comments. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Okay, so you guys can hear me. So Zoe, we wasn't able to hear you. Do you want to try to do that one more time? Happy Thursday, everybody. Zoe, can you hear me? Oh, that's weird. I can read your lips, but I can't hear you. Can everybody hear Zoe when she was presenting in the beginning with her introduction? Let me know in the comments. Yes or no, was you able to hear Zoe? No, they wasn't able to hear you. And this happened last time as well when I presented. So if not, I can go ahead and just take over if you need me to. Perfect. All right, let me know, how are you guys doing? For those that do not know who I am Nika Johnson, the owner and founder of a company called Budget to Success. And my goal is to be able to break barriers by teaching the importance of financial literacy. So first question I have for today is, let me know, do you manage your money well? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. Do you manage your money well? Yes or no? No. Okay. And I'll always say this is a safe zone. Everything's always confidentiality. But this is really just an opportunity for me to be able to help you guys in regards to that. So before I get started, I want to tell you guys a little bit about who I am, where I come from, and the work that I do within the community. Is that ultimately I grew up in a single parent home with a repeated cycle of teenage pregnancy at the age of 16. I have learned why my family dynamics may shape who I am, they won't determine who I become. And so I always has been a advocate of that. I just ultimately I wanted more. So I had just about a full ride scholarship to the University of Nebraska Lincoln, major in business administration with a minor in communication studies. I started my career officially in corporate America. I used to work at Union Pacific Railroad. I used to operate in operations department for 5 years. Then I transitioned back into the financial sector. In all, I have over a total of about 15 years in financial industry experience, from taxes, from working in credit card departments, risk assessment, fraud. I was licensed as a loan officer in the state of Nebraska doing second mortgages at a local credit union. I was top 5% before I fired my boss. So Budget to Success was born by captivating the audience attention through social media, teaching about the power of finances. So just some financial highlights that I have been able to accomplish is that I purchased my first home 2 weeks before my 25th birthday. My husband and I, we paid off our full wedding. $15,000 was young. Also, we became debt free with the exception of our mortgages. And mind you, I said mortgages because now I invest into real estate. So within that is we paid off a little bit over $40,000 in less than 2.5 years with a two-parent household income with less than $100,000. So Budget to Success is my baby. It was something that captivated the audience attention of me paying off student loans, paying off credit card debt, being debt free, and teaching people how to manage the relationship with money. So one thing I always tell people that it's not about how much money you make, but manage the money you do make. So September 2020, I fired my boss at a local credit union, and then right after that, we ended up purchasing our first rental property. Also, for my 30th birthday last year, I purchased my childhood home, and I have been going back and forth of starting to invest into commercial. So that's just a snippet of who I am. I always tell people is that ultimately only you can define the level of success that you desire through budgeting, savings, and credit. So let me know, Chelsea. We'll get into it. So we're going to do a Q&A later where you guys can pick my brain, and that's the opportunity because I always say that I'm friendly, but I'm not free. So please use this time and this space wisely so I can be able to equip you with the tools and resources to be able to succeed. So within my company, Budget to Success, is that I built a six-figure business the first year of business, full year last year. And I always tell people that I'm on my journey becoming a multimillionaire. So I'm always on the go. Just give me your thoughts and prayers as I continuously expand. But just some things is that, when I fired my boss, I was scared. And the reason why is because I knew that I was going to have to chase the sale. I didn't know if I was going to be able to pay my bills. What does that process looks like? Can I do this? Is this something that's truly a problem that I can be able to solve? And ultimately it was. So I went from, making 20 something dollars an hour to be able to make $150 an hour now. And so when you first get a job, they tell you how much you're going to make, right? But now, as being an entrepreneur and someone that fired their boss, I now tell people what you're going to pay me. And that aspect is just that financial freedom to where I work what I want to work. Also being able to travel, to be able to take my daughter to and from school and be able to volunteer and just be really involved and not have that guilt trip of being a mom. So these things had afforded me more financial success. And within that is also that independence. So I always wanted to be that advocate of that financial coach. I always tell people I'm a financial coach. I'm not a financial advisor. And my goal is to be able to support you on your relationship with money. Is because sometimes we're just spending. We don't know where our money is going. So I'm going to ask you guys a couple things is, how many times do you guys go out to eat? How much do you think you're spending a month on the fast food? How often are you going out to eat? And how much do you think you're spending on a monthly basis on fast food? Anyone? Do it. Everybody cook and nobody eats fast food. I know I have some clients that can spend easily from $500 to $800 a month. And so within that is that I try to teach people on how to meal plans and things like that. So $200 a month, okay, not bad. 50, okay, about $20 a week, okay, not bad. Okay, so that's good overall. Okay, so 30 a month. Oh, I like that. Good job, Jennifer. I'm proud of you. Okay, so first thing is budgeting. What do you guys think budgeting is? I always say budgeting allows you to control your money, and that is not controlling you. And in regards to that aspect, is that making sure that your income is exceeding your expenses. So if you do, please take out a pen and pad. And what I want you guys to do is start writing out all of your monthly income, and that's going to be from full time, part time, child support, income, alimony, child support, or anything like that, separate maintenance. But write down all of your total monthly income that you currently have on a piece of paper. So how much are you bringing in a month? Is it $2,000 a month? And I'm talking about net. What is your take home after taxes? How much are you bringing in a month? Because one thing is, the key to financial success is budgeting. And budgeting sometimes is a misconception that budgeting means low. Budgeting doesn't necessarily mean low. Budgeting just allows you to make for sure that you're controlling and planning your money ultimately, and then also making sure that you're telling your money where it's going and just being mindful where you're allocating those funds each month. $50 a month is really good too. Great job. Great job. So do you guys budget on a monthly basis? Do you guys budget? Let me know. I love to budget. I always say less is more and make it simple. Simplify it. So every dollar should be accounted for. So when I paid off my debt, we did something called a debt snowball method, to where you make the minimum payments on all your debt, and then in the excess funds, you'll put that towards the smallest balance and just continuously work your way. So I would not have been able to become debt free or have a financial success. And I remember when I first started savings, is that I was only able to save $25 a month, working my way up to $50 a month. Then I was able to save 500, then was able to save 1,000. Then I got up to be able to save 10,000 a month. And now my goal for this month is to save 15. So I want you guys to budget everything, not just certain things, not just some things, but I want everything to be a budget. And what I mean by that, okay, how much is your rent or your mortgage? So after you write down your income, next what I want you guys to do is write down your expenses. And the expenses is going to be, what is your rent or mortgage? OPD, you have MUD. How much is your household supplies? Household supplies is detergent, soap, cleaning supplies, things like that. How much is your household supplies? Let me know if I'm going too fast too. Next, I want you to do your groceries. How much is your groceries? One thing that I have been able to save thousands of dollars on groceries monthly and annually with myself and a lot of coaching students that I have as well is being able to plan my meals. I understand that life gets hectic. We get busy. Extracurricular activities are working multiple hours and going from here and there. But within that, being practical and planning out your meals. So something that I was able to do in my household is I created a meal calendar. And what I did was I'll take a look into our pantry, our refrigerator, our deep freezer and freezer, and seeing what ingredients do I have? What meals do I want? So what I do is every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday. I may do salmon tacos, shrimp tacos, ground turkey, walking tacos. It could be a burrito. It could be a quesadilla, but typically it is going to be Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday is a 30-minute meal. Let's say for those that I have meetings back to back, what I like to do is typically make bigger meals to have leftovers. One thing is for those that are working in the office is plan your meals, pack your meals, quit eating out. And also if you are my coffee drinkers, make for sure that you are making your coffee at home. You'll save hundreds of dollars. Reason being is I have had clients that spend easily $500 a month on coffee, easily $500 on eating fast food. They could spend $10 a day with their colleagues on a meal. Let's say that you're doing Uber or DoorDash, then you got to add taxes. And also, you got to add the tip and things like that. So, just imagine, for example, on a low range, that you were spending $10 a day if you was working in the office. And that's 5 days a week. That's $50 a week on fast food. Times four, that's $200 a month. What could you be doing with that $200 a month? So, within that, as I always say, plan your meals and saying, what could you do? Let's say one day you're going to make chili. Next day, eat those leftovers, but use it in the sense of, okay, you could make chili dogs. Does that make sense? So one thing I always say is plan your meals, eat your leftovers, and being intentional within that. Buy bulk. That's going to help you reduce that budget, as well as that excessive wasting food, and also eating out sometimes as well. So those are just some tips with budgeting. Other things is how many people are saving? Do you pay yourself first? A show of hands, let me know in the comments, just or no. Do you actively save? All right, so first homework assignment, because one thing is I love implementation. And the reason why is because I want to make for sure that you are getting results and implementing the things, because a win for you is a win for me. So I need to make for sure that you guys are saving. So remember, out of sight, out of mind. And I want you to automate your savings from your employer, direct deposit. So you may have your primary financial institution. So let's say, for example, I always have a bank and a credit union. The reason why I recommend these two is because a bank typically can approve higher loans sometimes. Credit unions are member centric, and then also that they can assess that risk sometimes in a sense of giving you, it's more that relationship building. So I always say at least build a relationship with both, and that's going to help you leverage credit. We're going to talk about credit a little later on as well. So I always say, make for sure that you're saving. Don't go work a 9 to 5 and you don't pay yourself first. What I mean by that, if your boss asks you to come into work right now for free, are you? You're not going to go to work for free. So why are you working for somebody else and you're not paying yourself first? Because the unexpected can happen. Emergencies happen. But ultimately, it's up to you to make for sure you're properly preparing for that. So if you're literally going from check to check, and then let's say you're driving on Sorensen and boom, you got a flat tire. Where's that money going to come from? If you're trying to focus on paying debt, paying down debt, and you're going from check to check, where's that excess funds going to come from? So you really want to make for sure that you're being intentional with the money that you have. So I always say, make for sure that you automate your savings, out of sight, out of mind. I try to say at a minimum, try to at least save 10% of your monthly income. If you can't do that, and if you're not in the space to do that, I understand. I don't care what you say, just say something, because it's better than where you was yesterday. It's better where you was a month ago. So always make for sure that you are saving. The reason why I like the automatic savings, don't get a debit card, no ATM card, no checkbook. The goal is to limit your access to the funds. A lot of people that has like trouble saving, if you have a savings account attached to your primary checking account, what happens is you save and then you go ahead and put it back. You double dip. So you're going ahead and put some money in savings. It's like, oh, I need it. And now you grab it. My goal is to make for sure that when you are getting direct deposits, that you forget about that money and you allow it to stack up. You always want to have at least $1,000 emergency funds. No matter what, renting only, always have $1,000 emergency funds. Next is you want to have 3 months of your livelihood expenses. So if your monthly expenses is $3,000, that means you should have $9,000 in an account, and that's going to cover your monthly 3 months. Next, you want to have 6 months. So when I was able to find my boss, I was able to sustain my lifestyle still. I didn't take no PPP loans, no grants, loans, none of that. I was able to self-sufficient my business based off of my money habits. And I always believe in paying yourself first, no matter what. So going forward, make for sure you pay yourself first. So that's one homework assignment for those that is struggling in a sense of savings right now. I want to make for sure that you are automating your savings, and you're going to see some improvement in regards to that. Another thing is, as far as 401k, making sure that you're saving for retirement. I like to coin this phrase as no money on the table. Don't leave any money on the table, meaning if your employer contributes to 5% towards that, don't put in 3% in their matching. At least do 5. So don't leave any money on the table. So make for sure that you're paying yourself first and looking into investing into your 401k as well. So even if you desire to invest into the stock markets, investing is risky. It's 50-50. If I invest into a property, okay, what is the damages? Is it what I expected? Will I be over budget? So the first rental property I purchased was $88,000, and then all the rehab came a majority out of savings. It was $20,000 to cover the rehab. We had 18 of it in savings. The other 2 went to my credit card. So I'm going to teach you guys on how you can turn credit into cash and be able to leverage that, but always make for sure that you're saving no matter what. That's one thing. Another way to help save you money is if you have a credit card, I want you to put all your bills on auto pay on your credit card, not your debit card. The reason why is because that credit card should be at least a rewards card. It should provide some type of incentive. Every dollar you should get 1 point back. If not, let me know, and I can at least give you some referrals of best credit cards that I personalize use as well. So one thing is that I love a Southwest Airlines credit card because I love to travel. So I put all my bills, everything, because you can't pay debt with debt. So remember that. So I can't put my mortgages on a credit card, but my life insurance policies, OPPD, MUD, cable bill, cell phones, everything goes on that credit card. Because now I'm getting free points. And guess what? Now I can utilize those free points. And when we have a family vacation, spring break just passed last week, or let's say we want to take a trip this summer for Christmas, now I can exchange those rewards points. I was able to take my daughter to Mexico for her 10th birthday, and that trip was very cheap and affordable simply because I stacked my rewards points. And with doing so, we didn't have to cover our flights to Mexico. So that's one thing, another way to help save you money. Let's say that you're not bringing enough income. One thing I say is give blood back. A lot of people are able to pay off debt by simply giving blood back. Do whatever makes for you. Create a side hustle, whatever you're passionate, whatever you're good with. Make money and capitalize off of that. Make for sure, because business comes from you're solving a problem. In the same way that I'm giving you these strategies to make for sure that you are controlling your money within your personal life, for my entrepreneurs and my business owners, these same things are going to be practical for your business as well, because you want to make for sure that you're growing your business. You can be in your business and grow your business. So my business can make money without me. I don't have to be available and accessible. If I did not build a team and did not delegate, I could not be here with you. I would have had to be by my business high and always able to answer. So you want to make for sure, no matter what, these practices that I'm teaching today is for a personal standpoint, but also apply it within your business to be able to assist you. Okay. Any questions so far when it comes to budgeting and savings? All right. I love you guys. Let's take a 60-second break. I am doing something called the 75 Heart Challenge, which I have to drink a gallon of water a day. 2 workouts, 45 minutes each, no alcohol, read 10 pages of book. And because I am on my 90 ounces, I need to run to the restroom. So I apologize, but bear with me. One moment.
Hi everyone, I figured I'd hop on and see if you guys can hear me now. Okay, you can? Okay, perfect. So I can hop on at the end and do our announcements. So just wanted to check before we got too far.
Did you guys miss me? Okay, sorry. My apologies. Health is wealth. So I always practice what I preach, and within that is financially, the money's coming in is really good. More so the physical health is because COVID did a number on all of us. And so since doing the 75 hard challenge, I was able to lose 15 pounds so far. My goal is 5 more. And within that is just making sure that I'm watching what I put into my body, and making sure that I am on that trajectory of creating that legacy, and breaking generation curses as well. And then also, I always talk about that mental health is that put it in your budget. Put in your budget to go to therapy. So, if you ever are impacted by any form of trauma from your childhood, go get help. Therapy does not make you crazy, it keeps you from going crazy. And believe it or not, your relationship with money forms from some type of trauma. So no matter how much more money I make, I am scared to spend it. And the reason why is because I come from poverty. It's that scarcity of that, oh my gosh, I got this money and then I want to take it all in and I don't want to spend it. So I encourage you guys to look and take a deep dive in and look at the lenses of your relationship with money. Are you shopping a lot? Are you overcompensating as a parent? Are you a guilt like are you guilting yourself as a mother? Sometimes it's because are you alone, a single parent, or are you working a lot, and you feel bad sometimes? So are you a gambler? Do you smoke? Believe it or not, I have some clients that smokes. And I say, hey, if you don't want me asking, how much do you have in savings? $250. Okay. So how much pack of cigarettes do spend um in a week? Okay, $11. Okay, so how many packs a week? Four. So you mean to tell me $11 times four is 44 times 4 weeks in a month usually is roughly about 170 something dollars, about 176 or something like that. So you mean to tell me that you're willing to value a pack of cigarettes more than you value a savings account, things like that? So I'm always going to have those uncomfortable conversations. I don't tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And it's always going to come from a place of love to be able to encourage you. So budgeting, savings. Any questions on that so far? No? Let me know before I get into it. I love talking about finances. Perfect. All right, let's get into credit really quick because I want to make for sure that I leave at least 20 minutes or so at the end for Q&A. So a couple things is when it comes to credit. I always say your credit score is like your dope GPA. It's a reflection of your buying power. It's going to tell you if you're approved or denied for a loan. It's going to tell you if you need a co-sign or not, or what's the interest rate. Simply put, bad credit is expensive, but it doesn't have to be a life sentence. Bad things happen to good people. Did you lose your job? Was there a death? Whatever the circumstances may have happened. And so within that, I always say having the best credit score, the highest credit score is truly buying power. Excuse me. So as a previous loan officer, when you submit a loan application, your credit score is going to be graded. It's going to be from a grade point scale of A plus A, B, C, or D. And within that is based off of what is that range of your credit score. Typically, financial institutions are going to pull from the Experian report, compared to TransUnion, Equifax. And so within that is you want to make for sure that you have the best credit score. I always tell people don't monitor your credit off of Credit Karma because that is a marketing company. That is a Vantage score. It's inaccurate. You want to make for sure that you're monitoring your FICO score. Now, it does get confusing sometimes is because there's different weights of your FICO score. So let's say, for example, if you desire to become a homeowner, when you become a homeowner, they're going to do a tri-merge credit report, which means that interest rate is going to be assigned to that middle number. So not the highest credit score, not the lowest, but the middle, ultimately. So within that is you want to make for sure that you have the best credit score because that's buying power. A couple things is in regards to your credit is that your score can range anywhere from 300 and 850. On average, the average credit score is about a 640 FICO score. And to be considered A plus is going to slightly vary between financial institutions, but typically a 730 and above. Some financials I have seen a 750. So you really want to make for sure that you are having the best score, and always review it, because 8 out of 10 credit reports will have some type of inaccuracies. You can pull your full credit report, not score, but your full credit report from annualcreditreport.com. But where you can monitor your actual score, I always recommend Experian.com. That's directly through the bureaus, and it's free. You don't have to look at all three. I always recommend is saving, because again, we got to make for sure we're in our budget, guys. And within that, I'm not going to look at all three scores unless I'm getting ready to purchase a house. So typically, if I'm close to buying a house between 2 to 3 months out, then I'll monitor all three. But literally, you could go sign up through Experian.com. That's EXPERIAN.com. And within that, you could get updated once a month in regards to that. Now, Credit Karma, the information reporting is correct, but not the score. And now sometimes if you're monitoring on Credit Karma, you may see, congratulations, your score increased. You should apply for this card. And then you apply for it and you get denied. Guess what? It's a marketing company. They get paid $3 to $4 for every application, even if you are denied or approved. And so remember that in regards to that aspect of when it comes to monitoring your scores. So you always want to make for sure that everything is 100% accurate, and just take a look at it. Clean up that personal information. When the last time, show of hands, let me know in the comments, yes or no, when the last time have you cleaned up that personal information on your credit? When is the last time? Have you ever changed your name? Have you got a divorce, moved, new job, or changed your number? Have you ever contacted the credit bureaus and changed or updated your personal information? Typically, a lot of people don't. And so one thing is, if you log into Experian, you can scroll down. There's the third column, I think, on the support tab, and you can start a dispute. And that is an example of way of how you are able to look and see all of your variations of your name. Always say, get it down to one name, one phone number, one employer. Because look at your credit reports. Some people don't look at the credit reports or know what's on there until they go apply for a loan, then they get denied. That's the biggest thing that I've seen. And I always say, monitor your credit. We're always on social media. We're wasting time. And within that is take at least 10 to 15 minutes a day, sometimes less, to review your finances. Simply, sometimes people don't look at their bank statements. Looking at your bank statements could help reduce fraud or identity theft. There's something called account takeovers. Is what happened with a lot of scammers, is that they'll do like a quarter charge, a penny charge, a very small cent, to see if the transaction will go through or not, and then they'll go through and then pull more funds. What about if you down to your last and someone took all that money? Okay, so now you got to contact your financial institution and do a fraud investigation. You may not get those funds available. So always make for sure that you're monitoring your account. You can set up text alerts. You have mobile banking. You can do it right literally from your phone. You even have the ADR, the automatic system, where you can call in. Just always make for sure that you're monitoring your bank account as much as you're monitoring your social media. Make sure that you're monitoring your credit report. Reasoning being is there's something called mix or merge files, which means similar variations. So let's say John Smith. John Smith is a common name. And believe it or not, you can actually have somebody else's information in your credit report. And because your credit report is not just made, it's not just out in the cloud. It's a listed algorithm, questions that once you enter it in, then they're going to pull that information. Think about it, seniors and juniors. I have seen some people who was juniors are named after their father or their mother, and they had their information on their credit report. Is that fair to you? Believe it or not, what about if you got denied for a loan for somebody else's information being on your credit report? Because that impacted your DTI, which is your debt to income ratio. So I always recommend is reviewing your information. Also start with your personal information, because if you have anything negative or derogatory on your credit report, you could be able to challenge that. Use your consumers laws, such as the FCRA, Federal Credit Report Act, to be able to use those laws to get those deletions. The goal is to always make for sure that you have a healthy credit profile and not just a score. Reason being is because you can have a 700 credit score, still get denied for a loan, believe it or not. The reason why is you want a healthy credit profile, because think about it in this aspect, and I always try to break down finances and financial literacy so everybody can understand it. I don't like talking with jargon. I really want to normalize those conversations that sometimes that makes us uncomfortable or guarded. So let's say that you have a friend that's always borrowing money from people and never paying them back. And they say, hey, can I borrow some money? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. Would you let that friend borrow money from you? They're always borrowing money from people and never paying them back, and ask you to borrow money. Would you allow them? And so a lot of people are saying no. And so if you don't mind me asking, why would you guys not let that friend borrow money? Burn me once, okay? Okay. Okay, for the cuties. So the reason why a lot of you guys won't allow your friend to borrow money is because of the risk, right? It's the reputation. They're known for borrowing money and not paying them back. So it's that uncertainty if they will pay you back. And because you may have three littles, or because you got burned before, or because of a previous experience in the past, it makes you hesitant. What about if I tell you that's what your credit profile is? That's what your credit report is ultimately. It's a risk assessment. It's a snapshot of your ability to promise to repay. So if you don't pay anybody else, those other creditors, those other lenders, why should you get approved for a loan? So sometimes I hear a lot of people misconception is that, oh, I bank at here, so I should automatically get approved for a loan. No, you have to qualify for that. So again, this is why I always tell people is to make for sure that you have a healthy credit profile and not just a score. All right, next question I have is, what's more powerful, an 800 credit score or $100,000? What is more powerful, 800 credit score or $100,000? I love this question. What? Good job, Clarissa. I'm here to tell you that the credit score is more powerful than $100,000. Because guess what? With an 800 credit score, you could go borrow $200,000. So I always say, again, this is why credit is king, not cash. I have seen some people go through their life for the last decade spending cash on everything. But then they decide to go get a mortgage, and then they have no track history, no payment history, none of that. So the interest rate that's going to be assigned to them is going to be a little higher. So you always want to make for sure that you have the best borrowing power. I always say credit is a game, okay? Credit is truly a game. You got to be in the game to play the game to use it as leverage. That's when it comes down to it. That's how you're able to leverage your credit so you can be able to invest, so you can get more money. So I may not necessarily need a loan, but I'm going to strategize and get a loan to maintain that on-time payment history. So there's 5 primary components that makes up your credit score, aka that dope GPA. If I don't touch y'all to teach y'all nothing else, I need y'all to know your credit score is truly a dope GPA. When you're in school, you want to get good grades, right? You want to get an A+. You want to do great. And if you do bad, you fail that test, then what? That's what your credit is. So you really want to make for sure you maximize it. So 5 primary components is what makes up that credit score, aka that dope GPA. 35% is your payment history. Pay your bills on or before the due date. I don't care what you do, pay your bills on time, okay? If you cannot pay your bills on time based off of your pay period, if you get paid uniquely and you get paid once a month, the last day of the month, or whatever the case may be, let's say that due date is right around the time when you got written to, and that is a hit on your pockets. That takes up your whole check. Change your due date. A lot of people don't realize, talk to your financial institution. Pick up the phone and talk to someone. Know your rights and make for sure you advocate for yourself, because ain't nobody gonna advocate you but for you but you. So make for sure that you're picking up the phone and doing whatever is necessary to make for sure that your finances are in order. So that's one thing, is always pay your bills on or before the due date. Next is keeping your credit card utilizations below 30%. Again, that's the risk assessment. My first credit card I had was a $700 credit card limit. I now have access to over $80,000. I can have more, but again, I like to assess that risk. It's the game to me sometimes. I don't want to apply for a credit card because I don't want to reduce my length of credit history. But I always say, make sure you keep those balances low as possible. So if you have for example, if you have $1,000 credit card limit, how much do you think you should not have that monthly balance revolve over each month? Let me know in the comments, please. If you have $1,000 credit card limit, how much should you not revolve over each month? And if you don't know, say IDK. because we're about to learn. Perfect. Okay. So based off the utilization, what you're gonna do is take out your calculators. You could do it from your phone. I got one of my. So I'll just do one of my phones here. You have $1,000 credit card limit. You're gonna times that by 0.30. That tells you don't want more than $300 revolving over each month. So yes, pay your credit card balance over each month in full, zero balance. Absolutely. Some people can't, but the rule of thumb is always make sure you keep those low balances. When you really want to maximize your credit score, I always say keep it around that 10% threshold. Reason is that you want to show that you can pay on time and keep your balances low. That's how you get higher lines of credit. So another analogy is whatever credit cards that you have, you add them all up. If you got one credit card 5 to 10, add them all up and then times it by 0.30. Do not have more than that dollar amount revolving over each month. Because even if you have $1,000 credit card limit and $1,000 balance, you're going to hit your score. Make sure that you pay attention to the statement date and the due date. There's two separate things. Because when that statement date ends, that's that date, whatever balance it is, that's going to report to the credit bureaus. So make for sure. And again, if you pay it off each month, we don't want to be paying no interest on that. So make for sure that you know how to calculate it. So let's say that you have one credit card that is $1,000 limit. Let's say your second credit card is $2,000 and your third credit card is $500. I'm going to add all three of those up. That gives me $3,500. Then you times by 0.30. So if you have a $3,500 totals in credit card utilization and capacity, total number, you don't want more than $1,050 revolving over each month. So keep those balances low as possible. That's how you get those higher lines of credit. Another thing is if you have low credit card limits, you have a good history with them for the last 12 months, go apply for a credit line increase. Make for sure you increase those limits because that's give you buying power. Because typically when you need the funds, it's hard to get it. So make for sure you use it and you don't necessarily need it. Next component that makes up that adult GPA is going to be 15% is linked to credit history. So you want to make for sure that you are keeping those accounts open and active. That's why you hear a lot of people say, hey, don't close out credit cards. The next 10% that makes up your adult GPA is going to be types of credit. And that states is that real estate is considered mortgage. And then revolving is lines of credit and credit cards, which is you have a limit, you borrow, you pay back, borrow, pay back. It's constantly revolving. Then you have something called installment loans. Installment loans are termed as for a period of time. So once you pay it and it's paid in full, then it's done. So you really want to make for sure that you have at least 4 trade lines that's open and active and at least 2 of those that have more than 24 months of payment history. One thing to help boost your score is you could be as an authorized user. So on a friends or family, someone that has good credit, on-time payment history, low balances, allow them to add you as an authorized user. You don't necessarily need a card. Authorized users do not abide by the financial responsibility. So let's say, for example, when we was building my husband credit, I add him as an authorized user. He's not financially responsible. So if he had that credit card and he maxed it out, that responsibility falls on me. So I want you guys to be aware of when it comes to authorized users, okay? Let's see. Question, can you repeat what you said earlier about how to find your credit score number? So Experian. Yes, you need to create an account. You need to create an account so you can be able to get that FICO score of Experian. It's not going to show TransUnion and Equifax. You'll have to pay for that. But yes, Experian. So types of credit. So you want to have a good mix and merge. Remember earlier when I said I have seen people with a $700 credit card limit and still get denied for a loan? Reason being is, let's say all they had was credit cards. And a minimum payment on a credit card is typically $35, depending on what that balance amount is. They could have done a really phenomenal job on that credit card. But then they go apply for a $30,000, $40,000 auto loan. They could be denied because there's a limited credit profile, a weak credit profile, and it doesn't show that any auto loan history in the past or that they can manage this monthly payment amount. So again, you want to diversify your credit profile. The last 10% of what makes up your credit is going to be 10% is hard increase, hard increase. So that's going to last for 2 years, which is 24 months. Not soft. So there is a difference between soft increase and hard increase. Soft would be like, let's say that you're going to get a cell phone, your utilities, you're moving, things like that. your employment. They're doing a soft check so it doesn't ding your score. A hard inquiry is when you're actually acquiring and applying for a loan. Are you applying for a credit card, a limit increase, a car, a house? Those are hard inquiries. So those are the 5 primary components that makes up your credit score. 35% is payment history. 30% is your utilization. 15% is length of credit history. 10% is types of credit, and the other 10% is new credit. The debt and the DTI for mortgages, most financial institutions is going to be 45%, depending on the financial institution. What is their bank product? When I say bank product, what type of loan? So all loans are considered like a bank product. So are you doing a VA? Or are you doing an FHA? Or are you doing conventional? What programs that they may have? Are you buying a house with a 580 credit score? So the rule of thumb is typically 45% is going to be that DTI, that debt to income ratio threshold, becoming a homeowner. I have seen some, depending, it may be 42, especially if you want to do a second mortgage as well, which is considered a HELOC, home equity line of credit, or HELOAN, a home equity loan. And then very max I have seen is 50%. So one thing is that when you are applying for a loan, yes, student loans is going to be impacted into that DTI. It's going to be the 1% of the payment repayment amount, I think it is. I can't remember the exact calculations off the top of my head, but student loans do impact that. There was a law that changed about 6 years ago, because at first it didn't used to. So yes, you still could become a homeowner. So that's one thing I always tell people. Even with student loans, you can become a homeowner. One thing is, in the process of becoming a homeowner, don't go house poor. So if you have a 2-parent household income, that doesn't mean that you have to go buy a house off of 2 household incomes. So when I purchased my first home, it was just in my name, no co-signer, nobody else on that loan. Although I had a 2-parent household, a 2-income household, I was engaged at the time, but I did not put him on the loan. So I did the loan by myself. The reason is the uncertainty happened. For example, my husband works at Kellogg. Kellogg just went through a strike for 3 months. What would happen if I was dependent on both our incomes to pay the mortgage? What would happen? What about if someone is dependent on overtime? All they do is get overtime, and let's say they got injured on the work. Now they have to file workers' comp. And then now that only gets paid between 60 to 80% of their monthly income, not including overtime. What would you do then? So right now, the uncertainty of what the market is, I'm really banking and hoping that the market is going to bubble, the housing market is going to bubble so I can buy more houses. But within that aspect is that pay attention to how a lot of these houses are going over the asking price. So when the market starts to become stable, then there are going to be some negative equity revolving over. So just be cautious of that as well. A couple of other things that I kind of want to touch on before I open up for Q&A is that I always encourage people to become a homeowner. I was a first-time homeowner. You're either going to pay your mortgage or somebody else's. And I understand that there is a risk of how could I afford the repairs and things like that. You could get homeowners warranty and things like that. Also, make sure that you improve your credit score is because you're paying 2 to 3 times more for simply having bad credit of your interest rate. Some things that your credit score is going to impact you is your insurance rate. Is going to impact you, your cell phone bill, believe it or not, if you have to put a deposit or not for that. It's going to impact you if you could rent or own. It's going to impact you sometimes with employment. It's going to impact you in everything that you truly do. So make for sure that you have the best credit score ultimately. Couple things is I do like to ask this question is how many credit bureaus are there? Please let me know in the comments how many credit bureaus are there. Angela probably been in my last class before. So there's actually more than 3 credit bureaus. And there's more than Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. That's the only ones that the average consumer knows. There's something called secondary bureaus, aka data furniture. So you got SageStream, Innovis, ARS. You have check systems. did I say LexisNexis, Clarity? You have several. There's a lot. So there's more than 3 credit bureaus. Another thing I want to leave with you today before I wrap up is never co-sign for anybody. I don't care how much you're in love, never co-sign for anybody. If they don't care about their credit, why would they care about yours? So within that aspect is that when you are co-signing on an auto loan for a friend, a family, a mom, a partner, and if they do not pay that loan on time, that hits your credit. That 35% of your score is payment history. A late payment could drive your score down up to 2 years. So you really want to make for sure that you are mindful of that. I understand things happen, but I always say never co-sign for anybody. Don't even risk yourself. I have seen so many people co-signing for houses, cars, loans, and they went from an 800 credit score to down to a 500. So just be cautious of that. Let's go ahead and open it up to Q&A. Another thing is I want to leave with you guys today is that there's so much I can talk about. It's hard to put it into a 60-minute presentation. Is making sure that you have life insurance outside of your employer. And the reason why life insurance is like income protection. I have over $1 million life insurance policy on myself, and I'm also in the process of increasing more. I also have an umbrella policy, meaning, let's say, pay attention to when you get insurance, in car insurance, let's say your car insurance, if there was ever an accident that you only able to, is going to cover up to $100,000. Let's say the damages exceed $100,000, or let's say in the fortunate event someone were to pass away in regards to that and the family decides to sue you. That umbrella policy is going to cover any other houses, rental properties you have, and any other vehicles. So that's another thing that I want to kind of leave you guys with as well. What questions? Let's go ahead and open up to questions. So yes, please make for sure that you have life insurance as income protection. Something happened to you. How are your family? How are you guys going to survive if it was a 2 income household down to 1? So make for sure that you are leaving your family with something other than debt, and make for sure that you're investing into yourself. And within that, I appreciate you for being here today. I am Nika Johnson, the owner and founder of a company called Budget to Success. You can always follow me on social media. Make for sure you go like our Facebook and Instagram page is Budget to Success, which is 2TO. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these questions. We got about 10 minutes left. I'm on a strict time frame. Is it better to do a business loan, home loan through a bank or credit union? I always say rate shop. I want you to get at least 3 quotes. The reason why is it's only going to hit your credit score once if it's in that same 30-day period. And ultimately, my goal is to make for sure you're saving money. As a financial coach, I need to make for sure that you're saving money. So within that aspect is that we need to see what is your interest rate. One bank may give you 4.2. One bank may give you 4%. One bank may give you 3.75. So ultimately, we need to make for sure how much money are you going to be spending for the life of that loan. Typically, when people get mortgages, it's a 30-year term, not 15, or sometimes you may see an ARM, but within that is you want to make for sure that you have the best rate in regards to that aspect. So yes, I always say rate shop. Go to at least a bank or credit union, and that third one's really going to be up to you. You can always search rates online as well in regards to that for those companies. So credit unions are about building relationships, but if you are using a smaller credit union here, they typically can't approve those higher loans compared to a bank. So I always say try both. Small business owner, business isn't making enough for it to pay my down. Open another small business that will produce some income for me. Don't know how to budget the first business as everything makes. So I will say you can hire me and do a one-on-one financial coaching. And I'm about to show you this book I'm reading too. So this is called Profits First. I believe I just started reading this. I heard so many great things about it. Read this to be able to help guide you, because you need to make for sure that you're making money in business. Ultimately, you're not working for free. And so in the first year or so, I understand that. But business, you need to be paying yourself first the same way. So when you're getting paid, how much are you putting towards taxes? How much are you paying yourself? How much is going back into that? So maybe it be something that you need to restructure from a business standpoint of what is your processes? What is your marketing budget? Could we get a business loan so you can be able to make money? But money, you should be making money in your business ultimately, and also making sure that where you're focused at. Don't focus on you starting one business, then you going into another one, because you're not giving your 100%. So one phrase I see on social media that I don't like a lot is have 7 streams of income. Yes, you should have multiple streams of income, but you shouldn't have 7 streams and you're not making money in 6 of them. So I always say focus on one business, you grow that, you scale that, you delegate, and then you focus on your next stream of income and rinse and repeat. So a lot of times is within small business owners, we don't have systems in place. Do you have automations? You delegate because you outsource. So there's so much that you could be able to do, but literally I would say start with QuickBooks too, but this is something that you could put into your budget, audiobook, or get it, but it's truly teaching you about the profits of your business. Next question. Let me know if that helps and if that makes sense. So how to leverage it from bank to finances for rental property. So you can get a duplex. And so if you get a duplex, is on one side, you can rent it out the other that, but I just could not find duplexes available. Another way is that you could buy one house program. I never done those type of programs, but the first one is you could do a first time home buyers program. The second house that you purchase, you could do it in a commercial loan. So it's going to be the score, the interest rate is going to be based off of your personal credit score, but you could put it in a commercial loan to where it's not hitting your debt to income ratio, if that makes sense. So it's not going to be seen on your credit report, but when you file your taxes, yes. Always make for sure that you have a lease agreement, is because as your expenses, income expenses, when you're filing a loan or applying for a loan, I should say, is that's going to come up on your liabilities, but then they could re-add in your assets to see that profit in regards to that. Another way I would say is that how you could be able to leverage to be able to start investing into real estate is that you can go to auctions. It's kind of, the market right here is a lot, but you could also do wholesale. So there's so many different avenues of real estate, but I like to buy and hold. So that's one thing too. Let's see. Next question. So one thing is, that's a loaded question to say, I see mortgage on her house and needs money to pay her bills as her income doesn't cover her expenses. So she living a life that she cannot afford. And I don't say that in a mean manner, is that I wouldn't necessarily recommend taking out a second mortgage. She needs more income. What is going on? How can we make for sure that she's generating enough income to overcome her expenses? Is because when she try to do a second mortgage, they're going to look at DTI. So if she's not making enough money for her current expenses, how she's going to be able to afford that second loan? Does that make sense? Because taking out that second loan, all you're doing is adding more debt. You're not really solving a problem. You're going to pay something off, but you still have this debt. So she has a money problem, and she needs coaching in regards to where she's spending money at. Is there any way we could minimize some type of expenses? Any way that we can increase those expenses? But it sounds like she has a money problem, and that's not going to solve it by taking out a second mortgage. And also, you still have to abide by DTI, debt to income ratio. Any other questions that you guys may have for me by chance? If not, what I would recommend is I'm going to drop my link. I was trying to grab it. I'm going to drop this link. If you love the presentation so far, please take the opportunity to go leave a Google review for our company Budget to Success based off of the information. So imagine if you got this free information, imagine what you'll get working with me. But also what you'll do is be entered into a drawing to be able to work with me to one-on-one financial coaching in regards to that. And then also once a month, we always do a drawing for a $100 gift card as well. So as a token of appreciation, please take the opportunity to go leave a Google review. That allows me to tailor the content and the information that I teach to make for sure that it's useful and valuable within the community and things that you guys can actually implement as well. Just want to check in and see, do you guys have any last minute questions? I know I threw out a lot of information in a short time frame. I appreciate you guys for supporting Grow Nebraska and being here today. I just ultimately want to be able to support you on your journey to financial success. Remember, only you can define the level of success that you desire through budgeting, savings, and credit. So any last questions? If not, I'll allow Zoe to take over. Let me know in the chat. I'll still stick around for a couple more minutes. You guys are more than welcome. Thank you.
Oh, gosh. Can you hear me?
All right, Zoe, let's see if we can hear you this time.
Can you hear me right now?
Nope. Can everybody hear
No?
Zoe in the comments? If not, Zoe, you can call me. I can send you my cell phone number. You can call me. Y'all can hear Zoe? Okay, they can hear you. Go ahead, Zoe. I just can't hear you.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share our slideshow. So thank you, Nika, for presenting today. I know I learned a lot about budgeting and credit that I did not know before. So, and this is Lindsay's contact information. She's still on maternity leave, but she will be back this next month. And you can contact me at shipping@grownebraska.org. And then our upcoming trainings are April 21st, which is selling products on a third-party website. And then April 28th is our Shopify expert training. And those are both from noon to 1 p.m. And then next we have our Grow Google series, which is April 6th. And it is covering digital skills for everyday tasks. And that's available in Spanish and English. So be sure and sign up for that. And then also we have Marketing Monday Tips, where we go live on Instagram, which is @ByNebraska at noon every Monday with Caitlin Pyatt of Authentic Branding and Marketing. And any Grow Nebraska member that joins will be entered into a drawing for a 30-minute coaching session with Caitlin Pyatt on her podcast. So that is all my announcements. So if no one else has any questions, then I think we might be done. Yep. Oh, but I think there's one more question for you. Oh. I forgot
I
she
can't
can't hear
hear.
me. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and end it since she cannot hear me. But if you have any questions, you can reach out to her or reach out to me, and I can give you her contact information. So thank you all for joining today, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.